The Criterion Collection. The greatest films by the greatest directors, preserved for all to see and with extra insight into the creative minds behind their masterpiece. Surely, any movie in the Criterion Collection is worthy of being cherished for its artistic... Cheeseball movies not only have a place in theaters to satisfy capitalistic needs, they are also capable of being an art form all their own. Films that have paper-thin plots, poorly explained characters, and more explosions than strictly necessary are becoming increasingly common. Every year, theaters are packed full with customers looking for their fix of action, shoehorn romances, and heroes flying off into the sunset after having fixed a problem that only violence could handily address. Though there are some movies that do that better than others. The Fast and the Furious franchise, Marvel's Captain America series, and the legendary Armageddon. What makes those movies work? Because I dislike the term art house, I'm going to make up two definitions here. Cinema is any artistic attempt of filmic work, for example, Koyaanisqatsi, where a movie is anything else made on film. I personally don't believe that movies are on a lower tier than cinema in any respect. In the beginning, movies were never intended to be anything more than a diversion, and I'm not one to believe the original intention is the rule for the future to hold to, but with film, it still remains the same. The vast majority of films are made to entertain. Most of those are subjectively bad, and far fewer are great, but even a bad movie can entertain, though it may leave a sour taste in your mouth. But there are some movies that meet the threshold of entertaining as many people as possible while also being subjectively great. Films that dumb the plot down to visual cues and action to bypass language barriers and deliver jaw-dropping and interesting situations take high talent to accomplish. Armageddon can be boiled down to simple emotional beats and moments anyone can understand. There's a lot of effort and planning put into this movie about blue-collar workers saving the day when Harvard and Yale graduates couldn't find a solution. Who's to say that a ridiculous premise that still manages to entertain isn't a great movie? I'll even go out of my way to say that a movie that ditches logic, reason, or even physics all in the service of making balls to the wall insanity for entertainment purposes can be exactly what movies are about. Where cinema strives to be the greatest of refined artistry in story, character, or other domains of subtlety, Cheeseball tries to be the greatest refined artistry in excitement, interesting clashes of characters, and creating original spectacles. These characteristics are what you will find in common between all the best cheesy action movies. The later films of the Fast and Furious franchise, Bad Boys 2, Triple X, The Return of Xander Cage, Rumble in the Bronx, Demolition Man, Face Off, these are all great examples where filmmakers tried their damnedest to make interesting spectacles and imagery that sticks in your mind. When I say the highway scene in Bad Boys 2 or the grenade scene in The Return of Xander Cage, I'm sure some of you instantly smile because those scenes are fantastic examples of adrenaline-pumping tension. There is an immense amount of work that goes into making a truly entertaining and illogical piece of entertainment. When Donnie Yen and Vin Diesel ride motorcycles into the ocean like it's completely normal, or John Travolta steals Nicolas Cage's face in order to infiltrate the criminal underworld, the filmmakers know the entertainment value of that moment is increased by the sheer insanity of it and how the audience can't believe what they're seeing. Now, with dumb films like Fate of the Furious breaking box office records every year now, cinema lovers are worried about what's going to happen to well-made small movies. After all, why would a studio let their talent work on stuff like Moonlight or Dallas Buyers Club that might make a little money, when they could just be working on another billion-dollar franchise film? Luckily enough, I think it's just actually impossible for a studio other than Disney to be able to expect every movie to make $1 billion, and since the stakes are low and Fast 10 Your Seatbelts is coming next quarter, they can take risks on a few movies that aren't made for everyone in the world. I love all types of movies, so I'm glad cheesy movies aren't the future of all films. But a part of me is glad we can expect to see a lot more of them.